1978. School problems. During David's first 3 years of school, my wife and I were left wondering what was wrong with him. No matter how many times he tried to read, he was unable to. He could not spell the simplest of words. When he started in the 4th grade, we were at wit's end regarding what we could do for him. His behavior was almost intolerable as well. He was disobedient and disruptive. I was employed by a large Canadian company, with its head office in Montreal. Its business was providing Canadians with overseas telecommunications services with regional offices and stations across Canada. I had entered a contest where a child of an employee from the 4 regions of Canada would plant a tree at a near-Earth satellite station in Quebec. I had entered my name and was picked to represent Atlantic Canada. I was at my parents' house, helping my father paint the window in the front of the house. We had a scaffold set up to work on, and while I was up near the window, my mother came and passed me the phone. The call was from the personnel department of my company in Montreal. The girl at the other end told me that my son's name had been picked. My son and his parents had won a trip to Montreal, and there they would travel onto the near-Earth satellite station site in the Laurentian Mountains, where the ceremony was to be held. 4 boys from across Canada had been selected. Our trip from St. John's to Montreal was very pleasant. David behaved reasonably well and was excited about having his first plane trip. But when we arrived and started to meet the different people involved in the event, he started to misbehave. He would not listen and was continually disruptive. No matter what we asked of him, the results were always the same. During the whole event, and especially tree planting ceremony, he was embarrassingly annoying, and when the time came to fill in the soil around the tree, he just ran away and hid. When we finally convinced him to quiet down, he started annoying other people. He was continually doing things that he should not have been doing throughout the event. When we returned to Montreal, all the families were taken out to dinner at a restaurant on the top floor of the Place Ville Marie. It was a nightmare for us. David misbehaved so badly that I had to make an apology to my superior, who was hosting the dinner. He told me that his son's name was also David and he was also a disruptive boy. It must be the name, he jokingly told me. The next day, as we boarded a plane for our flight back to St. John's, both my wife and I felt totally exhausted from our experience. My wife and I decided from that point onwards every effort would be made to see what caused David to act in such a difficult manner and why he was just not able. She made appointments at the children's hospital and nothing was found. She consulted with university personnel, who did a study on the way he behaved and his difficulties with reading and spelling. They could not determine any problems. At the same time, the child counselor from his school was also doing tests with him and started to note some very positive results. A week or so after he had started, he contacted us at home and requested an appointment for us to visit him. Because we were both working, he agreed to come to our home one evening and give us the results of his research on our son. When he arrived at our home, the news that he brought was very quickly passed to us. He told us that David had shown an IQ of 156 on tests that had been made by both the school and the university. He explained the reasons why David behaved the way he did. All that we were trying to teach was of little interest to him. He was bored by the child activities we wanted him to be involved in. He wanted to take part in more advanced things, with a higher degree of challenge, which he needed to satisfy his abilities.